Hey friend, do you struggle to get a good night's sleep because you are just stiff and achy and tense from the day? Well, get ready because we are gonna dim the lights, we're gonna get you relaxed, and this routine is gonna give you the best sleep you've had in a long time. Hey, let's get to it. So it might be helpful for this one if you happen to have a yoga block handy. If not, not a big deal. I'm just gonna show you one movement that you could potentially use it for, okay? So let's go ahead and begin down on the floor, on your heels. And I want you to pick your hips up and set them over to the left of your feet. So now we're kind of sitting off to the side. Take your right fingers and reach them as far over to the right as you can and extend your left arm up and over your body. You're gonna feel this really nice big side body opening right down all the way from that left hip, all the way up to your pinky on that left side. Let's spin open just a touch and look up underneath that arm and exhale. Bring that hand back down to the floor. Let's pick those hips up and set them over to the right. Now, sitting down on this side, left fingertips extend all the way down across the floor. Right arm reaches up and over your ear line. You're gonna feel that big stretch all the way from that right hip bone, all the way up through your armpit into that pinky. Let's go ahead and spin your arm open just a little bit more, reaching up, looking up underneath your armpit up to the sky. Keep your knees down. Exhale. Go ahead and release. We're going to spin and actually kind of face the front of your mat. And this is where that yoga block could come in handy, especially if you have really tight hips. So we're going to step your right foot forward on the outside of your right hands. Now, you can bolster yourself up in this position. You can set your yoga block up all the way on its full height, or if you don't want to use it at all, you don't have to. So hands are down on the floor on the inside of that foot. Untuck that back toe. We're just gonna work our way between this front deep hip flexor opening, and then I want you to rock your hips back and feel a hamstring stretch. Let's pull those toes up off the floor and peel your toes back towards your shins. Deep hamstring stretch here, and then rock it back forward, staying dynamic for just a moment here. Hips shifting forward, down and low, as deep as you can get them, and then rock it back onto that heel. We'll do this one more time. Really try to flex that foot as much as possible and shift your weight back forward and rock it back. Go ahead and rebend that front knee, and we're gonna switch sides here. So left foot comes forward on the outside of your hands, and we're gonna shift your hips forward, making sure that that knee does not fall open. Keep your knee tracking straight forward, hips shift forward, down deep. And then rock it back onto your heel, actively pulling those toes back towards your shin, and then rock it back forward. Shift your weight back, feel the hamstring stretch. One more time in each position. Hips drop forward. Usually after a long day, our hips are so bound up tight and carrying so much tension from sitting or even standing on our feet all day. So these feel so good. So now we're gonna make our way into a downward dog. So fingertips spread, toes tuck. We're gonna pick the knees up off the floor and shift your hips up nice and high. And we're gonna pedal the feet out. So step your right heel down on the floor really firmly. Left knee can be bent. Switch sides. Left heel steps down firmly, right knee can bend. All of your weight is going down the backside of that left hip. Shift again, right heel plants firmly. Again, down the left leg, left heel plants firmly. All that weight presses back into the left leg. And both heels plant firmly, spinning your tailbone up to the ceiling to get that little extra deep stretch. And we're gonna set the knees down, uncurl the toes, spread your knees a little bit wider than you normally would for a traditional child's pose, and reach your arms as far forward as you can, but keep your hips, your heels down on your hips on your heels. This is where that yoga block can be handy again. You can position it between your feet if you need to and sit on the block. That's especially helpful if you can't sit all the way on your heels for a child's pose. That way your hips can rest and kind of relax. Okay, so fingers are gonna reach as far forward as possible. Forehead comes down on the floor. Exhale. Let your forearms relax on the floor. You can even feel the skin across your low back release and spread. Let's gently walk your fingertips over to the left. You can pick your head up and actually set it down over to the left too. We're going to extend that right hand as far left as you can, feeling the stretch across that right pinky all the way down, following the outside edge of your body down to the right hip. Let your forearms relax, your elbows relax on the floor. On the next exhale, walk your body all the way over to the right. Set your head down over towards the right. Now we're feeling that stretch from the left pinky all the way to the left hip. Set the elbows down. Let your hips go heavy. Feeling your hips release in the hip socket. Come back to the center. We're going to slowly, methodically work our way onto your side in a side lying position. So your knees are tucked up right at hip level, actually a little bit higher than hip level, as if you're sleeping on your side, okay? And I want your top knee to be slightly more forward than your bottom knee. Hands are going to be stacked like alligator arms. We're going to start this movement by reaching as far forward with that top arm as you can. You'll feel this shoulder blade activate. We're going to reach that arm behind you and lay it open. Big exhale. We're going to hold for 4 deep breaths here. With each exhale, that arm should get a little closer to the floor. One more deep breath. And bring that hand all the way back. And we're going to gently flip over to the other side. So now you're laying on your left side. If you're with me, knees are all the way up to hip level. Have that top knee slightly more forward than the bottom knee. Hands are stacked. Initiate that movement by reaching that top arm forward, feeling your shoulder blade kind of pull away from your spine, and then lay that arm out behind you, kind of like you're opening that arm like a book. If you ever feel too much pull or tension at your lumbar spine, draw your knees up closer to your shoulders. Exhaling here. Inhale, deep exhale. It's okay if your knuckles don't quite touch the floor. The more we release that tension, the more you exhale and pay attention to your breath, the closer those knuckles will get to the floor. One more big exhale. And bring that hand back to where it started, on top of the other hand. Let's roll all the way onto your back now. Knees are bent. I want you to take your right ankle and cross it on top of your left knee. And before we pick anything up, I want you to just let that right knee drop away from your shoulders so it presses away from you. And you'll notice in that moment that your hips are going to want to swivel, but see if you can firmly plant your tailbone down on the floor so nothing swivels. This could be enough right here. It's an excellent stretch for those deep hip rotator muscles. But if you want to add on to it, you can pick the entire unit up and even grab through your thigh and pull towards your chest. Just make sure that as you're pulling, you're not picking your hips up off the floor. Keep them planted on the floor. A couple deep breaths here. One more. Go ahead and gently release the legs. Plant your right foot on the floor. Let's cross the left ankle up now. And let your knee actively push away from your body. So you're trying to get your shin kind of level, almost perpendicular to the line of your spine. This could be enough of a stretch for you right here. Or let's pick the whole unit up, thread the needle. So reach between your legs, grab around your thigh, and squeeze in as long as it's not lifting your sacrum or lifting your tailbone up off the floor. One more big inhale and exhale. And release. Go ahead and plant your feet as wide as your mat. And we're gonna take your knees and drift them inward towards each other. They might touch. If they easily touch, walk your feet further apart. And this is an internal rotation stretch for your hips. It feels a little funny, but it's a great stretch too. So try to keep your low back connected to the floor. Relax your shoulders down. Chances are you're still gripping with your shoulders. Let your knees just get heavy. Go ahead and pick your knees up away from each other. And now we're gonna go the opposite. So walk your feet towards each other and we're gonna open the knees wide. So now your legs are creating a diamond shape. Your legs are going heavy. You can even let your low back release. Allow your hips to open, release that tension. Let's go ahead and extend the right leg all the way out straight along your mat. Left leg all the way out straight along your mat. Close your eyes if they're not already closed. And I want you to wiggle your toes as much as you can. Wiggle them, spread your toes apart as far as you can. Create as much gap as possible between your toes. And then release them so that they're not working at all anymore. Complete release at the toe joints. Now your ankle, I want you to flex your foot as hard as you possibly can. Press your heel down away from your knees. Toes are pulled up towards your shins. Roll your ankles in a big circular motion. And then I want you to release the feet so that they go completely limp. Working our way up the leg, we're going to squeeze your quads as hard as you possibly can. Create as much tension and contraction in your quad muscles, so much so that it pulls your kneecaps up towards your hip joint. And release that contraction, complete opposite of contraction. Working our way up, we're going to squeeze your glutes, so much so that your body lifts up off the floor just a touch. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze your glutes. Get more and more contraction as much as possible. Bring all that awareness into your glute muscles and then release them. Let them go completely limp, completely smushed open. Working to the hands now, I want you to spread your fingertips as far apart as you can, and at the same time, we're gonna move your hands in a circle, creating circular motion at the wrists. Switch directions with your wrists. And then release. No more motion at the wrists at all. Working up to the shoulders, we're going to squeeze your shoulders up to your ears, create a big shrug. Big, big shrug up towards your ears, almost like you're trying to eliminate your neck. And then release it all the way down. Your shoulders are completely limp. There's no tension. The muscles have gone completely limp, as if they've melted. Working up to your jaw now. Pay attention to your jaw and the amount of tension you're carrying in your jaw. Allow it to be open. Your teeth are separated. Allow your tongue to fall in the back of your mouth. Pay attention to your forehead and even the muscles across your forehead from your eyebrows up over your scalp and all the way down to the back of your neck. Those muscles are going to be completely relaxed. We're going to inhale, exhale. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Inhale fully. Exhale. You can take your time coming back to a sense of wakefulness. Feel free to pause the video here, or you can meet me in a seated position. Big exhale. Good job. I hope that routine felt so good for you. For more routines just like this one, I'm gonna link another video for you up above, but then I need you to also go below and leave me a comment. Let me know how this felt for you.